What's up, guys? Christian Brindle here. Joanna Wyckoff.
Not Joanna
Hang on.
Wyckoff.
Not Joanna Wyckoff. The infamous Joanna Wyckoff. And
Facebook doesn't know we found a secret
hang on.
route.
Right. Like Facebook has tried to ban you from all of us. Facebook has tried to push you out, if you will. And I am just a rebel with a cause and putting you back where you belong.
I appreciate it. I have a lot to say.
Yes. So we have a great conversation to kind of share with you guys. So
Yeah.
I just shared this into mentors, so I want to make sure that it worked.
Okay.
No, not there's a guy with his name is Mentor in his name, and it went to him profile. I'm like, who are you?
I love it. People ride my coattails.
Okay. It worked. Okay.
Awesome.
All right. So good evening, everybody. Christian Brindle, not Joanna Wyckoff. And Joanna and I were having a great conversation earlier today about just a couple of really interesting topics. And it just seemed like it was fitting that we did a Friday evening live stream and just have an open discussion with our various communities, kind of about the topic at hand. So Joanna, without further ado, I'm just going to turn it over to you and kind of let you kick off this topic of conversation.
So Christian and I both have a lot of agents that we work with and support outside of our home offices. Christian has maybe 100, 200 some agents. And is that right, Christian? About
250.
250. Wow. And I am regrowing again to catch up to him. Since I started Top Flight, I think I'm at like 115 right now. Plus all the agencies that are coming on board. So we're growing fast. And, we're both moderators and admins of communities like 7 Figure Medicare Agent, Medicare Mentors. I have the insurance ladies. And so a lot of times agents will text us, call our home office. Christian has told me stories, and whether they're attached to us contractually or not, the question came up today, like at what point do you stop responding to agents during the day? Are you responding to them at night on the weekends? And I used to get in trouble. My former partner used to be like, Joanna, you respond to people at midnight, so you can't be mad because you're the one texting them back, right? And I'm like, fair enough, right? But I think that there's some boundaries that get blurred and some lines that might get crossed because, Christian, you're married, right?
I am.
Many of us
somehow.
I don't know how. Stormy puts up with a lot of crap.
That's the truth.
But you have a 3-year-old and a beautiful wife, and your wife is licensed, and she participates in the business at some time, not all the time, but sometimes, right? So she understands the business a lot more than most spouses, I would say, right? My spouse is in sales, but he doesn't sell insurance. So he does not know why people are texting me at 10 o'clock at night. He's like, the insurance companies are closed. Why are they texting you? Like, dude, like, why is this a thing at 10 o'clock at night that you're still responding to people? And I'm like, I don't know. And so, so some people like, I've had this discussion with a bunch of people, and there's so many different levels and from just mentee to GA, MGA, SGA, FMO, IMO. The IMOs are closed after 5 o'clock. You would not reach in Sylvia Gordon or any of those folks after 5:30, right? Like, they're closed. It's a holiday weekend. Did you know that it was a holiday weekend?
I had no idea.
Yeah. MLK Day.
I'm clueless.
MLK, most of the insurance companies are emailing me saying that they're going to be closed on Monday. Anyways, so
well, we'll be open.
I think I'm open too. I've had a lot of vacation lately, so but Christian, like, how would you feel if an agent called you on a Saturday night at 9 o'clock and said, "Hey, Christian, something's wrong with my Humana commission," and like for me, that's an email, and that's something that has to handle that Tuesday at 9 a.m. when Humana opens, because there's nothing I can do Saturday at 9 o'clock about a commission statement when the company's not even open, right? But I think that
Right.
like there's a lot of burden and stuff being put on uplines. Like I understand agents are frustrated because I'm an agent too. You know what I'm saying? And I might be thinking about it now, but just because I'm thinking about it now doesn't mean Joe Tritola needs to think about it now. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah. I think it's a great point, and I think there's a couple different sides of it, right? Like to me, it's a more complicated conversation than maybe it might appear from the outside, right?
Yeah.
So like for me, right, I'll kind of use myself as an example. There have been plenty of situations where somebody reaches out to me, and at the moment, it's borderline frustrating to me that they are reaching out to me because it's at night, it's a phone call, things like that. However, I think there's levels to this, right? Like, I think if there is not everything is created equal, right? Not like I think a spade is not always a spade. And so, like to me, I think like there's different situations. So let's say there is an agent that is not contracted with us at all. They have no affiliation with us at all. We've never done any business together. And there's almost like a they feel obligated, maybe that's not the right word. They feel entitled. That's the right word. To be able to have some of my time. I've had people reach out to me in bunches over the years. I have no idea who they are. And they're like, "Hey, can I jump on the phone and pick your brain for 15 minutes?" And I'm like, "Well, no, you can't. You cannot. $300 an hour." And sometimes people get it, and sometimes people are like, "Yeah, I think I'd like to be able to talk with you, and I understand your time's valuable." Other times people are like, "Well, gosh, it's only 15 minutes. Just take a second." I'm like, and so you can tell a lot about people. Now, if there's somebody that is contracted with me, then that's a level above where I'm like, okay, I'm much more understanding. Now on the flip side, let's say there's someone that's been contracted with me for 2 years.
Okay.
Now, let's say there's two people been contracted with me for 2 years. Person A is a very good producer. I'll move heaven and earth to talk to them.
That's right.
Whenever they need it, pretty much, and as long as I'm not asleep. If person B has been contracted with me for 2 years and they've never written a policy, I mean, they get a little bit more priority than someone that's not affiliated with us at all. But I'm not going to prioritize their emergency necessarily. I will help them, and we'll help anybody. But I think it's just like, to me, it always comes down to the layers and the levels to it, like each particular situation. And I feel like also I think on the flip side, there's a lot of people these days that I don't respond to. There's a lot of people I don't respond to. And it's not because I dislike them. It's not because I'm a jerk or anything like that. It's because I don't have time to respond to everybody. And so I pick and choose who I respond to and who I don't. 9 out of 10 people, they just kind of get the hint that I'm busy. I'd say the others, the 1 out of 10 people, they send a follow-up message like 10 hours later, and they're all pissed off. They're like, "Well, fuck you, man." And so there's just different situations to it. I agree that if I do agree that if it's late at night and you're having your family time, it's important to just understand you don't have to respond. I think there's another side to it, and I think that is a real thing. I think Joe is really spot on, and that's something I struggled with for a long time. But I still am not 100%, because sometimes I'll respond to somebody and my wife's like, get off your phone. What are you doing? I'm like, I'm talking to somebody. And they're like, who is it? I'm like, it's an agent. Do you know them? I'm like, no. And she's like, so I think it's a really multi-layered conversation.
I just want to, as I grow in the industry, like I used to, and I think the pandemic has affected this too, because during the pandemic, we were working morning, noon, night, and day. Like I was working at 3 o'clock in the morning and my agents knew it, I think as we grow in this industry, um, you start recognizing things like Stormy should not have to say, "Hey, Christian, we're watching a movie. Are you here, or is Joanna more important than our family time?" And I can say that because there's a lot of times where Christian and I are talking and about things in the industry or just gossiping, and he goes to me, "Hey, Joanna, I'm about to walk into the house. Let me ask Stormy if I can give you 10 more minutes because it's her time." It's legitimately Stormy's time. Like from the moment you walk into that house, it's family time. It's their time. It's not agent's time. It's not Christian Brindle Insurance Services time or Six Figure Medicare University time or whatever project you're doing. It's Stormy and Violet's time with their dad and husband. And anyway, so and I have a life partner that I have and a stepdaughter and everything. And a lot of times it's like I don't think people realize that we have lives outside of insurance. I mean, I'm trying to build a life outside of insurance, and not just me. I'm talking about other GAs and MGAs and people with Facebook groups. We're expected as Facebook group admins and content creators to answer people's questions. And a lot of times, Christian, I know you get this. People don't even say hi. People just be like, "What's the answer to why this is this and this?" And I'm like, "How do you too?" Like like you didn't even address me, not even a "Hey, Joanna," anyways, that rubs me the wrong way. Don't do that to me. If you approach me with a question, not even say hi, how's your day going, or at least say hey, right? At least acknowledge a hi, right? Anyways,
Yes.
I think there's nothing that insurance, and this is why I got into insurance. There's no reason that people need to have phone calls about insurance at midnight because insurance companies are closing. There's nothing I can fix at midnight, And
Right.
I
Right.
like to I'm not a doctor on purpose, right? Like I don't want to be on call. I don't want to do life-saving things. Like I don't want to be a paramedic or a firefighter. Like I enjoy our schedules. I enjoy to be saying, you know what, I want to take the day off, right? I want to have a 3-day
God
weekend.
forbid.
God forbid. I think I might. I don't know. On Monday, I'll be open Monday, but still, I think that there's a lot of agents out there who just need to understand and recognize, hey, my upline probably sells themselves too. Like we're both producing agents on some days, uh, whether we like to or not, right? And some days we have family issues, and sometimes we're dealing with other agents, and you know, sometimes things are more of an email than a phone call or a text message.
So one piece of this that I think is really interesting to think about, right?
Uh-huh.
So you mentioned a second ago, um, large IMOs and FMOs, right?
Yeah,
Like Premier, Agent Pipeline, right? They're not open.
they're not open.
They're not open past hours. They're not open on weekends, right?
Right.
I can only imagine some of the voicemails they'll come into work to sometimes from people just hysterical, frantic, just losing their what. And you got to imagine it happens, right? Like a voicemail, an email being like, this needs to be fixed now, from some pissed off agent. I think what they have figured out, and it's a credit to those types of organizations because it probably speaks to a lot of why they've been able to get to where they are.
Uh-huh.
But they've figured out that the agent's emergency isn't their emergency. And they understand that these are our office hours. These are when we're going to work. And we're not really going to, give our personal contact information out. I mean, like, you probably have personal contact information with Premier, of a lot of people with Premier. I have a tremendous amount of personal contact information with people that we're partnered with. But it's almost like an understanding. I don't bug them,
Oh, yeah. I would
on the
never
weekends.
call my marketer on the weekend for something that can wait until Monday,
Yeah.
I think the one time I called them was I was privy to an agent actively committing fraud, like on the phone, and and I needed to stop the policies, but like, no, like most things, I mean, whatever I need fixed, Humana, Cigna, Anthem, whatever, they're not open until Monday anyway. So, right?
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, I bring that up to say it's probably something, I think anybody that's watching this that is, I Andrew Saul causing trouble in the comments, by the way.
What was he saying?
Most of those Facebook users on the side, if you can see those comments, a lot of those are him.
I can't
But
see.
you can't see it? Okay.
Oh, wait, there it is. I see.
Yeah.
Facebook user Joanna. I don't know who that is. Who's Facebook user when the clowns aren't working?
The last. Yeah. But no, I think
saying not call him up on the weekend.
Yep.
All right, so Andrew is a personal friend of mine who blows me up at night. And he has nicknames for me that's not appropriate for YouTube or Facebook. So I've actually slept at Andrew's house in his guest room multiple times. And so that's a little different, Andrew. Like, you're not a marketer. You're my friend.
Yeah. But no, like, I think, like, about that FMO IMO conversation, right? Like, those businesses have structured their businesses to where they allow access on their terms and the way they want to allow access. So I think, if anything, it can be kind of used as a lesson for anybody that's an MGA out there, an SGA out there, an up and coming FMO out there, that it, them doing it that way has not hurt their business.
No.
They have thrived probably as a result of it. And so, if anything, me and Joanna making ourselves as available as we have over the years,
we hurt ourselves.
Probably hurts us more than it helps us.
Joe
helps you guys.
Stop doing it. You don't have enough boundaries. I mean, he's probably smirking to himself right now, saying you did this to yourself. Andrew Strange, he would say the same thing. Joanna, you get mad when agents call you late at night, but you're the one who has responded to them late at night. People know you're wide awake at midnight, and I'm like, I know, but like, I just, so here's the thing, is like, I have some OCD that people don't know about. Like, I can't like have a text message there that's not read. That's not, what I'm saying? That's not responded to. Like if you text me saying, hey, Joanna, what forms should I do for Social Security or whatever, I'm going to text you back. You already know it, because it's like, anyways. So yeah, so we did it a lot to ourselves, and I think we were working late at night during COVID. I know I was, and I know you were. Crazy hours, right? Like, we really didn't have concept of time, and just responded to everybody as much as possible, as fast as possible, because we wanted people to help people regardless of affiliation. I know back in early COVID days, we were helping training agents that had no affiliation to us, just because I wanted people to succeed, and I still do. We have communities that we support and everything. Just because we run communities, though, doesn't mean that we don't have feelings or lives, like, when someone doesn't say hi, Joanna, it kind of hurts me that I'm just being used as a Google, like,
Joanna is JChatGPT.
What does that stand for?
I think No, I think it's a great conversation though, to be had. I think my connection coming through okay? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Uh-huh.
Okay. I think it's a great conversation to be had though, because like it's something that we've talked about a lot. And I think, it's one thing I would just encourage you and you guys to just keep in mind is just some of the things that Joanna is talking about. It's just understanding boundaries and everything like that. I think one thing I have learned, Joanna, that I think you need to work on is being able to have that text message unread,
Mm-hmm.
and being able to have that message unread.
I'm
Because
trying.
like
I'm gonna start with Windrift.
I will have some messages unread for
Mm-hmm.
days.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 years ago, I would have had a panic attack if that happened.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's just I've learned that if I'm going to respond to every message as fast as possible, and I'm not going to prioritize, like I was saying at the beginning, right? I will be on my phone responding to messages all day, 24/7. I won't sleep. I won't get anything done. I won't have any of my family time. And that's where I just had this realization where I'm like, okay, I need to prioritize. Some messages get a faster response than others.
Yep.
And others might have to wait a little while. Some might never get a response. And it's just maybe because I didn't like the way they approached me. Maybe they were a little rude about it. And I've had that happen, as I'm sure you have as well. Just kind of a rude message, and it's just I don't have time for it. I don't have time for it, and I'm always happy to help agents, but if an agent has an attitude with me, I have no desire to help them whatsoever. Like I just am not going to do it. And I think it's just something to, I think it's something to work on, because I think it's like a muscle. You get more numb to it having an unread message, and it doesn't bother you as much. Because I was the exact same way for a long time.
I put some.
I've gotten better at it through work.
Yeah. So I put some things in place. Like I have, agents I support, right? So we have a group chat, a couple group chats going on, like top flight Medicare agents, top flight ACA agents, and stuff like that. If you text that group, I'm reading it instantly. Like they don't wait 5 seconds. I tell them, if you're in a house, text me in a house. I will read it. I will respond. I will call you in a house, right? Because that's my job as a mentor. Like if you're running business, I will support you in a house. But if you come up with a hypothetical on Sunday night about what if my mom turned 65, like just a hypothetical, like it doesn't mean to use Sunday night energy, Anyways, I was
Joanna,
thinking.
What if my birthday was on July 30th at 12 o'clock?
Yeah, so it's great conversation, because I think a lot of people who didn't come from corporate, I came from the government. Like Social Security was only open 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. like by office hours, but we actually closed the public at 4 p.m. just to do the work at our desk, and we would go in on Saturdays to do overtime to desk work and everything. But if the government's closed, like it is what it is, right? Anyways, I do have agents that are 3 hours behind me that I try to support. And I know that in California it's only 5 o'clock, so I'm still going to answer their phone if they're in a house. But like if it's like a complaint session, like we all got the email to that Humana is going to pay us on Tuesday, right? We all got that email. Like there's nothing I can do. Humana is going to pay us on Tuesday. Like I understand you're frustrated. I write a lot of Humana. I'm frustrated too. They got my money, But it is what it is. Like we're going to get paid on Tuesday. That's not anything anybody can move heaven and earth for, right? I'm just saying.
Go down to Humana's headquarters with a ski mask on, and nobody will be there, but nobody will be there.
They are enjoying MLK Day. I promise you that. So
yes,
I just wanted to just talk about this because I've had other, MGAs and SGAs and GAs, bring it up, and like they're like, man, I was actually just on a meeting with somebody not in my affiliation. We were talking about how she has been mentoring, probably like a dozen agents, and she's like, man, I'm exhausted. Agents just dump their lives problem on you. And I walk away like just feeling dumped on. I was like,
Yeah.
sometimes we're the coach, the one that wipes the tears, and like I understand it because I was the agent who was dumping on Joe and everything and giving him my life's problems of why I sucked at this and why I couldn't do this and everything. I was like, but honestly, sometimes those dumping just needs to be during business hours and not, taking Violet's time away from her daddy, just saying.
Yeah, it's almost like, the therapist needs a therapist.
You know what?
You know what I mean?
Glad you brought that up today. Coach Burt. Do you know who Coach Burt is?
I do. We've done a live stream for the group.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. Well, Coach Burt had a free training
it's on YouTube
today. Oh wow, I'm gonna pull it up. Coach Burt had a free training today. It was 7 hours long. It was great. I only got a couple hours because I was hosting my own training. I had appointments today, but I bought the recording and I'm gonna watch it, a couple hours at night on the weekend or whatever. But it was a phenomenal thing, and I'm sitting here watching him going, coaches need coaches, right? Like you and I have very few people to talk to at our level, like we talk to each other, we talk to our IMOs, but like the conversations, not many other people can we really have them with that understand. The agent I was talking to before, she's like, I can't really have these conversations with my friends because they're 9 to 5, W-2 employees. They don't understand the insurance world. I was like, the other industries that probably might understand is like real estate. But I was like, real estate doesn't really have, uplines like we do. Like there's usually a broker manager and then a bunch of agents under them, right? Anyways, I was just like, a lot of people that we relate to might encounter might not understand, what we do as far as marketing and sales. And, a lot of us try to work 24/7 when we really shouldn't, My goal for 2023 is to turn off the switch and to have a hobby outside of insurance.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like that. I think that's really good. One thing I wanted to ask you while you're here, while we have you.
Is this a hot seat?
What is new in Joanna Wyckoff's world and with Top Flight Solutions? What is the latest?
Well,
the communities can't hear as much from you for a little while.
So I am in Facebook jail again for saying something about gummies. And Facebook does not like the type of gummies I sell, even though they're completely legal in every state in the country. Facebook thinks I'm a drug dealer. Anyway, so Top Flight, I started Top Flight last May 13th, 2022, when I was sitting in Justin Brock's office doing behind the agency with him. I came up with my name, Top Flight, because I felt like it exemplified what I wanted, and it was like a nod to my Air Force roots and everything, and I really didn't know what it looked like. I had an idea of what I knew I was capable of building because I helped build Nation Care, and I was like, well, if I could help build Nation Care from, I don't know, I think Joe started with like 30 agents to like over 500 in 2 years. What could I do now that I know what to do? Because like when I was helping build Nation Care, we kind of won it, like there was nobody really gave us the play manual. Like a lot of this stuff we like just had to figure out, right? And so now that I know how to do all the contracting and I have better processes in place for everything, like it's ran a lot smoother, right? We had our first AEP. I don't know the numbers yet because I won't get my last report until January 20th. But I think we matched or exceeded my goal. Our goal was, I had about 100 agents at the time going into AEP. Some of them were brand new. Some of them had been sticking around for a couple years and might only be part-time agents, whatever. My goal was 1,500 apps, Medicare Advantage apps, plus not counting the ACAs and stuff, right? And I think we met that or exceeded that. I don't know for sure on the 20th. And I'm just really proud of the agents. I mean, there were some agents who jumped in the game in October and was writing their first applications October 15th, 16th. And they really caught on, We had a lot of final expense agents. I love final expense so much. The final expense agents work their butts off, and then they're trying to learn Chinese at the same time, They're like, all right, what's MSP? Okay, but the final expense agents who get it, like, because they went and they're adding another line on top of a sale, and they're now creating their own renewals and stuff, and on top of their main product, like their main product is final expense, all right? And then now they're adding Medicare and some annuities and stuff, and I'm just so proud of them, because it's hard to add a new line and catch on really quick when you only have 55 days, right? Final expense, by the way, most of their clients are LIS clients or DSNP clients, so they can sell year round. So that's my passion, is teaching those type of agents, Christian, and don't go fishing in my honey hole. But the final expense agent usually sells 15 to 20 something apps, Medicare apps a month on top of their final expense, because most of their clients have an SEP year round. Most of them do. It would be very rare for them to not have diabetes or something like that, so that's Top Flight's doing. We have a lot of new things. I'm not allowed to disclose the new people coming on board, but in the next 4 months, you're going to see some names come out of the woodwork going, oh my God, Joanna's working with this person. Oh my God. And then, so I'm excited about that coming on board. Oh, I hired a brand new marketing team yesterday, Christian. I'm so proud of this. I try to wear a lot of hats, and we just know we reached a point where we can't do it all ourselves, right? And you reached that a while ago. I hired a real marketing company, not like a fly by night. I know how to do Facebook ad company, but like a real marketing company, to take over my social media, to take over my website. They're redoing my website. They're going to be running my Facebook ads for the agency and everything, and my SEO and everything. So, because I was like, I can't do it all at once, right? Like, you can't be everything to everybody. Like, you just can't do it. So anyways, and then I hired a virtual assistant this past week to edit some videos and stuff like that. And I'm going to hire 2 more people to do some admin work for me and everything. So I'm trying to delegate. I'm trying, because it's hard, when you're a perfectionist. And I'm a perfectionist because of the Air Force and the government. It's not something that I'm proud of, but with the Air Force, you're not allowed to make a mistake, and neither with the government. Social Security, if it was a penny off, it's wrong. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so, so I'm hiring people and everything. And the training today, we had Norma Johnson on for training today. We've been doing a whole series of training agents, by agents, for agents. I had John Stagner on last week. He sold, I want to say, 89 applications off of a $600 lead spend in AEP, and just phenomenal, And then we had Cynthia McCluskey on last week. I think she's here. She taught us her grassroots training, just phenomenal ideas, because there's so many ways to get business in this industry, Christian. And we always say it's either with time or money, right? And so you can buy leads, or you can create them somehow. And there's many ways to create them, with branding and doing grassroots type of events, right? Next week, I have Zach Rucker from Game Changer Leads teaching us how to call and do appointment setting. Who better to do it than the lead guy himself? And so I have a bunch of training coming up like that, and just trying to diversify the training and getting everybody. Oh, you had Andrew Saul today, but I had him before. So he hosted our New Year's Eve training, December 30th training, a couple weeks ago, teaching MedSups and Physicians Mutual MedSup product line. That was really good. And, he blew away some of my agents. I said, Andrew's probably one of the best Medicare knowledgeable people in the country. he tries to stump me all the time. When he's texting me at midnight on Saturdays, he's really trying to come up with questions he thinks I don't know. But he's texting me now.
Andrew, I got to give it to Andrew. He's one of the few people that brings up little random facts that I didn't know.
Yeah.
Most of the things I know, you're right. Like, just doing it as long as I've done it. Same with you, right? Most things, like I would say maybe 9 out of 10 questions that go in the Facebook group, I know just off the top of my head. I'm like, oh, it's this.
Yep.
Same with you. Andrew just throws out information sometimes. I'm like, I did not know that. He's one of the few people, right, in the industry.
We should play a game or make a game called Stump Andrew, like a Family Feud style. We should do this.
Family Feud style.
Feud style Medicare.
I'm up for it. As long as it goes on my YouTube channel, I'm up for it.
Anything for content, right?
Anything. Well, Joanna, I want to be respectful of your time. I know it's almost 8:30 your time.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts on this topic that we're talking about today?
Final thoughts. So I would say if you wouldn't want your customer to be asking for your time at that time of the day, then probably reconsider asking for somebody else's time at that time of the day. Because I see agents all the time posting saying, can you believe that my customer lets me a voicemail at 3 a.m.? Most of the time they were just thinking about it at 3 a.m. They didn't really want you to respond at 3 a.m. right? So if you're thinking about it at 3 a.m., just send an email. Just send an email. Christian doesn't need to wake up at 3 a.m. to talk about it. Right. Now, if you're suicidal or something, call 911 and then you can call me and we can talk about it. But the thing is, most things can be talked about, before it's family time, And I work later hours. I don't work at 9 o'clock in the morning normally. Normally, I don't start my office hours until 10 because I have a whole West Coast, So I usually do 10 to 6, 10 to 7, which is normally a little bit later than normal. But if it's 9, 10 o'clock at night, send an email. You might get a response faster than that if I'm up at midnight doing emails.
Emails are good. One thing that we'll always do is if I need an answer from our FMO or carrier partner or whatever the case might be, and it is something I'm thinking about late at night, I usually will send an email because I'm just and I'd say that's probably where people are checking the least. People check text messages, Facebook messages, voicemails. They probably check those a bit more. Email, I'm not worried that I'm bothering them. I just am getting it sent while I'm thinking about it.
Exactly.
And it's going to be there in the morning when they start work.
My emails that I sent to the IMO, I mean, I have probably the best marketer in the country. He responds in seconds, So I know that if I email him over the weekend, even at midnight while I'm thinking about something, he's going to read it when he comes into the office and gets me a response. Same thing. So if I have to ask somebody at the IMO or a carrier or research something, it's best to send me an email, because if I read your text message at 3 o'clock in the morning while I'm getting up to go get a glass of water, I'm going to forget about it by the time 8 a.m. rolls around. Right. And so it was I tell agents, especially my agents, I was like, if you need me to research something, send it by email, because I'll see it all day long and know that I have to respond to it. A text message is supposed to be meant with a quick response. Joanna, are you working today? Are you at the beach? But if you need a detailed response or some research, or why did Anthem steal your client like I got yesterday, send it an email, because I have to forward that up the chain along with all the credential information. Yep, that's my tidbit. Is if you want a better relationship with the person who's training you, respect their time. They'll respect you for respecting them. Does that make sense? And because I've heard it a lot, be like, man, these agents don't respect my time. I have kids that I have to get baths and feed and stuff. And, their families are hurting, you know, and like we already have a really high divorce rate in the insurance industry. So just respect the time of the Stormies of the world, you know, the Violets of the world. Insurance kids and spouses, I think, get the raw end of the deal because we try to answer everybody. If my guy's in a house, I'm going to answer. Yes, I'm going to answer if you're in a house. You're not in a house at midnight.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
So, my final thoughts.
You know, guys, I will piggyback on what Joanna said by saying, you know, if you ever wondered why I'm as screwed up as I am, it's because I am an insurance child. My father wasn't there. My father was working all the time as an agent. No, just kidding. I hope nobody's like, why is Christian so screwed up? No, but my father worked a ton when I was growing up, you know, a lot, you know, and so, and he wasn't even recruiting agents. It was more so just clients that took a lot of his time. And so it's a similar thing, you know, it's the same thing. And so, you know, I think it's a great topic of conversation and just some things to think about. And yes, Joanna, thank you for your time. I know everybody will be excited when you're finally let out.
We're going to have to do more StreamYards now that we know the circle around Facebook.
Yep, there's always a way. There's always a way. All right, guys. Well, thank you for tuning in. 2 streams in a day. We're really pushing the limit there, I know. And we will certainly bring you more streams as we go, and hope you guys all have a great weekend and a good holiday weekend. I didn't even know it was a holiday weekend. And we'll see you guys later, okay? Adios.